Hey guys, I just want to make a mention. Domestic abuse is mentioned in this, and it's also in the episode, in episode 3, I believe it is. In any case, I wanted to give you a trigger warning here that if you were disturbed by that, so you know it's not, it's just mentioned, not described, but I wanted to just make sure that you guys, or we wanted to make sure that you guys knew that, so if anyone had a problem, they just knew ahead of time. Thank you for your time, and take care.
Hello and welcome to the world's worst podcast. I'm Ben.
Oh, I'm
That's
Devin.
one day we'll figure out a rhythm for that. And this week, hey, I actually watched Twin Peaks, so we can talk more about that. It sounds like Devin is still very much into pens and writing and all of that wonderfully addictive stuff. And then I don't know. I kind of hurt my ankles this week, so that's been kind of annoying. But I don't know. We'll see what else we get into here. Music for the opener here from Jeff Stone. The song is "What Is Wrong with You." Maybe we'll get into that as well. But this is the world's worst podcast.
Oh, baby, you don't have to go. Oh, baby, what a wrong way. I give you the money, babe, I ain't coming down blue. Oh, baby, what a wrong way. Oh, baby, what a wrong way. I'm gonna love a baby, baby, what a wrong way. In the morning, babe, feeling all blue, baby, what a wrong.
Okay. So
Now, I want to
before,
hear. Well, go ahead.
oh, well, I was gonna say. So before we actually officially, quote unquote, started recording, you were talking about your monthly budget and what pens you might be able to buy. Is that?
Oh my God, I'm so hopelessly, unsavably addicted to pen stuff. Like,
Well, as long
I've
as
been
the ink is just going on the paper, I think it's fine.
it is, and that's kind of the problem. I've run out of my sample inks. I had 3 sample inks, and it's 2 milliliters each, rather. There's some problems I've had getting the sample ink into my pen, which is part of it. So there's like anywhere from 1 to half of a milliliter, just not there. But I don't have a pipette or anything like that to get it up, to get it into the pen. So it's kind of just sitting there. So it's brutal. So when you have a fountain pen inked up, you should store it like upright, for example, because there's nothing stopping the ink from coming down and into the pen cap. And depending on what kind of ink you have, that happens at a different rate. Now, if it happens, it's not really a big deal. But if you left it for long enough, conceivably a large amount of ink can come out.
Right.
But that doesn't seem to be it seems to be a very long time for that to happen. In any case, when you take off the cap, there's a little bit of suction if you have a clip cap kind of thing, as opposed to a screw cap. There's a bit of suction, and because it needs to stay tight in there to keep the water from the ink from evaporating and drying on your nib. So when I have a clip pen, I have this bad habit of taking on and off the top, like just quickly taking on and off.
Oh yeah.
And like like when you lower the space of a opening of something, and there's a vacuum inside,
it
creates more suction.
Right.
And I had my fingers around the silver band furniture part where the cap meets the body of the pen.
Uh-huh.
And so I had no opening there, or very, very small of an opening. I'm just taking the cap on and off all the time. And so I didn't even notice it, but I put it into one of my brand new shirts, shirt pockets, and it blew up.
Ooh.
And so I'm more upset about wasting the beautiful Diamine Midnight than I am staining my shirt or having to clean out the pen.
Yeah.
But
well, because I mean, yeah, those things can be returned to normal, but the ink isn't recoverable.
Yeah, and even if it stains my shirt, oh well. I mean, it's like staining my hands. That's kind of part of it. You know, I don't mind if that happens. I mean, it shouldn't happen, but I don't mind if it does happen.
Yeah.
But I was just like, man, I knew better, and I just was mindlessly doing this habit I have. It's unfortunate. But anyway, so that's why I'm out of ink prematurely. I have in there Nutbar's Black Eel, which is really good. But in any case, I'm having problems figuring out what I can get next month because I'm on a fixed income, as you know. So it's difficult knowing where to spend that 1/7 of my income or whatever it is. 2/7 actually. So, like, minimalistically, all I need to write is, as long as I have paper, which I should probably have paper for the month, is just ink and a bottle of ink. I don't even necessarily need a bottle. Even just one sample of ink could do me, or 2 samples of ink can do me for the month. But that's not as fun. You know what I mean? Like, for me, if I don't have an outlet, if I don't do something that I'm excited about, I start to become not excited about it. If that makes sense.
Your enthusiasm wanes quickly if there's not something there renewing it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Like, if I don't get to experience the thing I'm excited about, then then it actually becomes like I'm opposite effect. I become not interested in it, and then I just don't pick it up in the first place.
Yeah, you kind of lose that spark, that thing that was keeping you going if you're away from it.
Yeah. Specifically, if I can't physically do it for some reason. Like, for example, I was excited about getting a new computer or getting computer parts and playing games. Well, it's going to be quite some time until I can do that. And so now I'm just not excited about it. Now, if it happens, that's great, but I'm just not excited. So I don't. Yeah. So there's that. There's just the sheer utility and need, and then there's the what do I do to get the most amount of enjoyment. So there's like 3 or 4 factors there.
Right.
So I don't know what to do to get it. Like I want a journal, for example, and there's a Rhodia journal that's web notebook that's perfect for what I want to do. It has the Rhodia paper and everything.
Yeah, that one we talked about last week, right?
Yeah, the web notebook. Yeah. But it's $25. I could get. I mean, that's not an insubstantial amount of money. And for twice that, for example, I could get an even better pen than I have now, which is just an introductory pen. And the one I could get, the TWSBI 580. I'll give you a link here in a minute. The TWSBI 580, which is a very good pen, for example, or a good pen, for example. It's like a good mid-range pen, I should be saying. There we go. So I don't know what to do. What's your advice?
Well, I mean, I think on the face of it, I would say that going for the thing that is going to last the longest, in this case, the pen, is probably the better idea, just because like the pen is the thing that's going to be with you the longest amount of time, whereas the notebook has a very specific and more limited lifespan.
Yeah.
But like it's like the difference between like buying like you were talking about a computer. Like it's the difference between getting a new part for your computer versus getting a new game to play on your computer.
Yeah.
And so I think, though at the same time, you already have what I think you would consider to be a perfectly good pen. Am I right?
A perfectly good introductory pen. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So for right now, you're kind of set on the pen side of things. So maybe it would be better to, and hey, it might not hurt to, spend a little less money, get the good notebook, and then consider another pen down the line, since you've already kind of are in a good place writing utensil-wise.
Right, so there'd be a ink and a notebook or something.
Yeah. I think, you know what, I think ultimately, since you already have a pen, start with things that you can use with that pen before you move on to another pen.
Yeah.
I think that makes the most sense.
It seems to me, in my very limited experience of listening to people who are in this hobby, that they have multiple pens inked up at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But they also have more resources in ink and paper, for example.
Yeah.
So they don't have the same deficiency as I do. Since I only have one of, I don't even have an ink, for example. I only have one notebook and one pen. So.
And also, like, consider it this way, in another side or related example. Excuse me. Like someone who is really into guitars, for example. Like you start with a guitar, one that works, that does what you need it to do, and you play around with that for a while. The first thing you do is not go out and buy another guitar.
Yeah.
You play with the one you have, and then as you go on, you can get, it makes more sense to get more and more guitars. But I think it would make more sense, to start with the ancillary objects surrounding a good fountain pen, or the fountain pen that you have. And then once you're further in and sort of getting that settled, then worry about getting another pen. Especially since you're talking about, you're going to need more ink anyway. And you probably are going to want another notebook, specifically, this sort of better notebook. Like, I think that's a more effective use of your money.
Yeah, I think you're right. I actually am going to be I plan to buy a new ink every month and a perforated pad. Like I already have, like the Rhodia perforated pad I already have, just to continue to write letters, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to do that every month. And it's just difficult to know if I should do anything more.
Well, you say should do anything more. I mean, that is just, to me, that's just a simple judgment of your, are you satisfied with what you have? And are you enjoying, I would say that if you are enjoying where you're at, if you're enjoying the pen you have and enjoying the writing you can do with it, you have every reason to stick with that in the sort of short to medium term, because a nicer pen, is going to have some benefits, but that's a smaller increase, I would say, in sort of pleasure of the activity.
Yeah.
And that money that you save not buying the pen could be used for any number of other things.
Hell, even more pens in the future. Or even better pens in the future.
Yeah, setting it aside. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's that's very sound advice. I mean, the most disciplined thing I would say for the like the most self-restrained concept, I would say for what to buy, it would be just the ink, for example. But I would like to do a little bit more and get the notebook. So I'm going to get a notebook.
Treat yourself a little bit.
I'm going to get the perforated notebook and the ink. I think that's what I'm going to buy. But, oh, yeah. I say that now. But let's just wait and see what actually happens.
Of course.
When I have the challenge of money. So tell me what... Go ahead.
Yeah, it's very tempting.
And it's easy to say things when it's lean times, but when you have money in the bank, it's like, oh, there was lean times. What? I don't remember that. Like,
yeah, very short-term memory in that regard. I know what you mean.
Yeah, dude. Well, tell me about you hurt yourself. That sucks.
Oh no, yeah, it's just really dumb. Like, and I'm not sure exactly what caused it, but I was walking this week to and from campus, and on Friday? No, I think it was Thursday. Thursday? Shit.
It was on a day of a week.
It was Thursday. I went for a walk around it was Thursday because it was the one day of the week where I didn't have to go to campus for anything. So I just did a walk around my apartment complex here. And I think it was just the way I had tied my shoes, or maybe it was the socks that I was wearing or something, but essentially I got this two little cuts that opened up on the back of my heel where the back of my shoe was like rubbing up against my heel. Or just above the heel, sort of the rear ankle area, and so that was really annoying and painful. And I'm still trying to like figure out the best way to sort of deal with that while also still being able to like walk without limping.
Right.
It's just this dumb thing. Like I didn't like pull a muscle or anything. I just have these two little cuts that get irritated with by my shoes.
Oh, dude, I totally understand it. It's surprising how bad those little things can be.
Yeah, it's like when you get like a paper cut on, a knuckle or something. Like you don't realize how much you move that area until there's something that hurts every time you move it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But luckily I have these really nice Band-Aids that seem to be doing a pretty good job of healing things and keeping them sort of protected. But yeah, it's still really, really frustrating. Like last night, so I worked all day Saturday from my apartment, and then at like midnight is when I finish, and I am out of clothes, so I have to do laundry. And just like walking from my apartment to my car to drive to where the laundry is, because I'm not doing that walk. It's not a long walk, but I'm not doing it at midnight, and I'm not doing it with my sort of ankles or whatever hurting. But even just like I felt I was limping like to my car, and then actually I when I got into the laundry building, I just took off my shoes and walked around that way. That was just kind of a dumb, frustrating thing that excuse me, will hopefully be better by Monday or today as this goes up, so that I can be walking to and from class no problem. But
my only suggestion was going to be some sort of Band-Aids, but you got that covered, it sounds like.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll shape up, because I had done that yesterday and it was still kind of bothering me, at the end of the night. So we'll see what happens. But I actually the the story I really wanted to tell from my week actually happened on Friday, because I had my second meeting for my research team that I'm on this semester. And that was an intimidating experience. Because like as an undergrad, I mean, I came to the idea of graduate school very late. Like it was the last, semester and a half, or the last 2 semesters of undergrad where I was like, yeah, I think I do want to go to grad school because a professor suggested it to me, and then the idea germinated from there. And so I had very limited experience with doing communications research, and also I just feel a bit sort of out of touch with the current state of communication research, or current theories that are being talked about, current works that are being done, and I'm finding it hard to try and catch up. But that all so that feeling, and then just general senses of self-doubt and inadequacy that I have led me to have a very dumb moment in research team on Friday. And to the credit of my the professor that I'm working with and the 3 doctoral students who are on his team as well, they're all super cool people and super nice. And but it was just for me the stress of the situation. We were coming to that meeting having looked a little bit at other research surrounding this core idea that our professor's been looking at lately of credibility and online review in the context of online reviews, and what effect it has on a person's likelihood of adopting the viewpoint of a given review. So when you go onto a site like Yelp, for example, and you see some reviews of a restaurant, how does your assessment of the reviewer's credibility affect whether or not you're going to agree with their opinion of the restaurant? Of course, having never been there, as you're in the process of saying, oh, do I want to go to this place? And so we were presenting some of the ideas that we had found to guide what our research will be over the next year into these sorts of subjects. And the other 3 students had all prepared little things. The first student was the most prepared, and she had a full page talking about research that she had done, because she was a 3rd-year doctoral student in the program. And so she was pulling from research she had done in the context of video game reviews, actually, and how different types of products give us or lead people to use different sorts of cues, it would seem, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
And she had it all written up, and then she had 3 hypotheses based on that research for us to potentially test in what we're doing now. And so we're going over it, and we're starting to brainstorm, okay, what are these elements that we're going to want to be testing for as we start to plan our research? And the professor looked at me and said, well, okay, Ben, what are the dependent variables in these hypotheses so we can start to categorize them? And I'm looking at, and I've been listening this whole time and going over this handout, and I'm certainly feeling like I understand everything that's being discussed. And then he asked me that question, and my brain just shuts off. I'm staring at this piece of paper, and dependent variables, it's just totally dead. And it's the worst feeling, because there's nothing, I used to think, literally before Friday, that only happened to me when I was dealing with math problems, because that's exactly what happens when I get a math problem. Is I look at a formula or an equation, particularly in a timed test environment, which maybe is the connection here. But when someone says, what's 6 times 7,
Oh, you were asking me? Oh.
No, it was a pause for effect, but I can understand your confusion. Yeah, just like my brain just goes, and it's just I have to like manually restart and be like, okay, 6 times 7, that's 42. I'm pretty sure, which is probably why it came up in my head. And so, but it was that same thing. And I think maybe now that I think about it, maybe it was something to do with just feeling stressed, like oh my god, this person did like understand this way better than I do, or did some really cool stuff. Like I was getting really insecure about the papers that I looked at and sort of the things I was bringing to the table. And so there's like that stress in my head, and so that might have been what induced the moment. And so. It was just so bad. I felt so dumb, and we got through it, and I was just like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm really rusty, and like I kind of brushed it off a bit and started to come up with something, but it was like I know I'm gonna want to have a sit down with my professor and just like discuss that a little bit, and also just kind of just talk to him a bit about like what. I don't know, just try to get some more background, because I mean he's a super smart guy, and he is like he's younger, but he's been out I think he got his PhD from my program in 2009, and then he was working at another university in the interim, and then started here just this year, and sort of coming back home, and so he like when he talks about these subjects, he's referencing all sorts of different theories and researchers who test these theories, and like he's got a lot of knowledge, and he just throws it out there, and that's intimidating to me because I have none of that. So but my reaction when I hear that is to just sort of as you do, you absorb it and just nod your head and go, yeah, that does sound like that person's take on this subject, like what you just agree even though you don't know, and then that, and then being around, like I'm getting to know these 4 people, the 3 doctoral students and the professor, all at the same time. So there's that like that social pressure of I don't want to look like an idiot, but I'm also looking like an idiot because I don't know what I'm talking about, or I don't have that same familiarity, and I'm just kind of nodding my head, smiling, or whatever.
Right.
But again, they are all really cool people, and I just need to get over my anxieties, and so now, like for next week, we broke off into 2 groups. 2 pairs to talk about, okay, here are the elements we've identified that we want to look into. Now let's start thinking about how we can perform experiments or to test for these different elements and all that. So I'll be working with one of the students about that on actually today, as this episode goes out. Now that I think about it, I'll be having that meeting, and I think that will go well and be a more relaxed environment. But yeah, it's that socialization process combined with the heavy academic, intelligent thoughts environment that just I think killed my brain.
No, I totally understand. Like even just sometimes being put on the spot. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You in some ways are describing what my entire undergraduate career in philosophy was like. Like, I know what it's like being pointed at and being like, answer this thingy, and just being like derp, and then after the class being like, I knew what that answer was. Mm-hmm. Like that's not quite what you were saying, but I'd say that's
exactly.
Is,
yeah.
Okay, good. Okay,
I'd say it's almost exactly what it is.
Because I had that constantly, and just being like every day after every class, I was like,
yeah. And that's part of why I want to have a meeting with this professor, because I think too, working on his research team, like I think I want him to be my advisor for my master's thesis. So like I want to make sure that I'm, showing myself in a good light to him. And then also I think, and maybe this was another like underlying thing, because I am in one of my classes where we're just talking about communication theories and just talking about here are some different theories in the realm of communications from the perspective that this department has on how to study these things, and in that class, some professors from the department will be coming in at different weeks when their topic is being discussed, and then we as students had to pick a week to present on a theory within one of those realms. And so my thing is computer mediated communication, and of course that's what my professor, this professor that I'm working with, is coming to my class to talk about his research in that area. And I am, of course, also presenting that week on a CMC, computer-mediated communication theory. And the problem that I have is that I probably will have reason, or at this point, I will be picking a theory that he personally worked on with a former professor in my department. And so I've been kind of thinking about that, going, shit, that's bold or stupid at a certain point. It's just I'm gonna the first half of class is going to be him presenting about his research that I'm now kind of familiar with. And then the second half of class is going to be me talking about a theory that this was when he was a PhD student. This would have been when he was a PhD student at this school. So not like research necessarily that he was spearheading, but his name is on the papers. He's like the second or third author of these papers. And so it's I've taken, I suppose it was inevitable at this point, but I've essentially taken on the mantle of describing to the class research he'd done. And so I want to make sure I get it right and present it well, because otherwise it's what the hell am I doing, in front of him, this person who is potentially very important to my continued academic success. So that's in 2 weeks now, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I think it'll go well. I'm very good in that kind of context of presenting things. I'm good at synthesizing information. Maybe not in the moment, on the spot, but given time to prepare, these things generally go fairly well. Right. But yeah, it's just that is now looming over my head. And actually, I had a weird moment because I kind of realized all of this over the last week when I was thinking about okay, what theory do I want to present on for this class? And I went back to one of my old communication theory books that I had for a broad overview of theories class in undergrad. And I flipped to a particular theory that had interested me at the time about computer-mediated communication. It was kind of the theory that made me realize that, oh, hey, this thing that I feel like I've only heard negative things about has actually been studied very seriously and taken very seriously in a way that I thought was necessary for essentially the entire time I was thinking about communication theory. And then it turned out, oh, right, that theory was pioneered by this guy who was the advisor for this professor who I'm working with, and I looked at the citations for the papers, oh God, there's his name. Oh shit! This is all some weird connection of people that I was not expecting to run into, and it's all coming together like some murder mystery.
Right.
Oh God, I was always supposed to be here, wasn't I? Working with these people, because oh Jesus, this is my life or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird, but it's good because I feel even better about my choice to come to this school, because I realized that wait, the people who did the thinking that I thought was so great are from here and come in this from this tradition. So
yeah, that has to be exciting for you.
Yeah, it's really great. But I guess I don't know. That's kind of that's been my week. I know I talked a lot, but
No worries.
kind of the highlights there. I suppose speaking of murder mysteries, it's time to get into what we haven't talked about yet in Twin Peaks.
Well, I had to pause you there, unfortunately.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because I forgot to shut my bedroom window, and I heard a train, like, in the very far distance, so I have to shut that before we get out on the recording.
Okay.
I'll be right back. I'm back.
Cool.
Yeah, one thing I have to say, and you can keep this in, is what the worst thing, one of the worst, not the worst thing, but the worst thing. Maybe you shouldn't keep this in. No, I'm kidding. A bad thing about being poor is historically the poor are often like relegated to the noisiest areas.
Right.
So, and
Well, that's the thing. Like I have, and luckily no trains have come by when we've been doing this. But if I have my window open and a train comes by here, it's very loud as well.
Yeah.
So
I have no less than 8 trains every day going by.
yeah, I guess I haven't counted, but I mean, yeah, I'm right here, and they come by pretty regularly too.
Yeah, I had 12. I saw one time I had 12 trains from 5 a.m. to noon.
Jeez.
Yeah, and
Okay, it's never been that frequent.
no, excuse me. I'm sorry. 5 a.m. and 10. I'm sorry. And
Holy shit.
yeah, the regulations about what they have to do about the horn and stuff like that are just absurd.
I mean, yeah, it's complicated. I mean, like I can appreciate it, though I get confused sometimes about like what times they should be doing the horns, because it seems like they sound them very late, but then at the same time I've never been woken up by one, which is weird to me. But,
Yeah,
I don't know.
being so high up too. There's nothing to separate me and the train sound.
Yeah.
My issue though is that you don't need to have the horn on for 15 or 20 seconds to alert people that you're coming. You don't need that at all. The horn itself should be created that it's automated so that the operator just pushes a button and it just bleeps it on for a few seconds, shuts off for a little bit. Bleeps it on for a few seconds, shuts off for a little bit. There's just no need for it to be on 20 to 30 seconds at all. Like there's just none. And it just makes me angry. But anyway, yeah, Twin Peaks. Let me get my notes.
Yeah.
But seriously, dude, with Twin Peaks just gets weirder and weirder.
Well, yeah. So, like, I don't consider myself like a cinephile or anything like that, but I am at least familiar in passing with who David Lynch is as a director, and up until the end of episode 3, I was really waiting for something to be really fucking strange and not just kind of strange, like the whole Dale Cooper character. And then it totally delivered in that last like 3 minutes or whatever it was. That last dream sequence.
Yeah, the entire episode was fucking weird. But
yeah, I suppose. Well, yeah, it got
covered.
weird and supernatural there. Yeah.
Well, no, like we should start with number 2 though.
Yeah,
We're getting a little ahead of
go in
ourselves.
order.
Yeah, I am starting to question if Diane is actually real.
Really?
Yeah. Like, we never see him doing anything with his face.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yes. No, you're right. I totally forgot that. I forgot. I was thinking. I forgot that Diane is the tape recorder person. I was thinking of the woman who works at the diner, and I was like, wait, what the shit?
No.
She's totally real. But no, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I was having those same sorts of questions from the beginning, but I don't know. Like, I want to believe she is real, but I guess now, yeah, I'm really starting to doubt it too.
I totally believe that. I still think he probably is sending these things off to a stenographer or whatever to write up his report, but because I know so little about how the FBI actually works, let alone worked in the early 80s or late 80s, early 90s. But like, there's just something. I mean, there's just something like, yeah, there's no evidence that he's doing anything other than just talking into a recorder every so often. So,
yeah, I don't know, and I mean, of course, that's the thing. Just because it doesn't happen doesn't mean, or we don't see it happening doesn't mean it doesn't happen. But yeah, that's also at a certain point, it's a conscious choice on the part of the director for what they show us and what they don't.
Yeah, if they were behooved to show us everything that happens for it to have happened, then shows and movies are going to be really, really boring, really, really fast.
Yeah, well, and at a certain point, it becomes its own conscious choice about, like, I'm showing you everything, and so, like, the things they don't show, if they don't show something, then it becomes, like, even more important. But yeah, that's a whole other, like, rabbit hole to get down conceptually.
Yeah. Like, they're really pushing for the truck in this episode. They're really pushing for the truck driver, it seemed to me. Like, by the 10th minute, I was really just like, they're really pushing that truck driver to be the one you want to, like, suspect.
Yes. Yeah, the one you want to, like, hang for it.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck is wrong with him, but yeah. Oh, Jesus, yeah. That was... I forget if that was... Was it the second episode where we see, let's just put it this way, a bit more of the dynamics of the relationship he has with, I don't remember the character's name, but his wife, apparently.
No, the spousal abuse does not come in until... it comes in later in the second episode.
Okay, but that is in the second episode. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and, yeah, the shirts, see what happens there.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves again. We should do a plot summary.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You should do a plot summary.
I should do a plot summary. I'm not prepared to do a plot summary.
All right. While you're doing a plot summary of number 2, I'll Google and find a plot summary of number 3.
Well, but there's no point in doing that, because by the time I have a plot summary handy for episode 2, I will also be ready to summarize episode 3, because it would be in the same damn place. I mean, like, if we're going that far...
We're terrible.
So... Well, I wasn't sure exactly how we wanted to do this. Okay, so, I mean, just, like, the basics... Oh, that's right, yeah. So we are introduced at the beginning to Agent Cooper's intense love of a good cup of coffee. And then... yeah, see, this isn't a very complete... Okay, yeah, here we go. So, okay, yeah. So we are introduced initially to Cooper. He's hanging upside down in his hotel room.
Oh, that's right.
On some apparatus while he's talking to Diane. It's, some sort of mental health thing, presumably. And then we see his great love of coffee. We're also... Oh, God, that's right. And Audrey comes in and, like, tries to hit on him, and it's really weird because she's, like, 18 and he's, like, 30-something, I'm sure. God.
She's not 18.
But she's in high school.
Yeah, she's not graduated from high school. She's probably, like,
16
or 17.
17, yeah, which is just really weird.
It was weird to me, actually. It's not even weird to me that she was hitting on him, because that kind of happens all the time. But what was weird to me was how inappropriately, like, into it he was.
Yeah,
that was what's weird to me. Like, he establishes how, like, he knows who she is. So, like,
but at the same time, he has, like, I don't trust my, like, on-face assessment of, like, any of his emotions at this point. Because he is such a specific and unique character. Like I can't tell. I can't be sure that what he was smiling about wasn't just the fact that he thought this was going to happen, and so he's just smiling about the fact that I got it right. She's going to try and seduce me, and I'm going to use that to get something else about this case. Like you can't. I can't be sure that he's not. Like, he sees where all this is going, and it's not that he's attracted to her. It's that he's like, oh yes, now the getting is good. Like, we're gonna. I don't know, something related to the case as opposed to some kind of weird, attraction thing. But I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was true, but I'm not willing to posit that that's true, or posit that could be true. I think it was just really super gross and inappropriate.
Yeah, it was. Well, I think it's because it was so gross to me that I wanted it to be that other thing.
Yeah, fair
so
enough.
I'm just gonna hold out my hope and see what happens. And so, and then they move into the autopsy findings, which was, sexual assault of both Laura Palmer and her friend who is in a coma still, and that Laura was likely died of blood loss from multiple wounds.
And she also had, I'm sorry, you may have already been mentioning this, but
yeah, she had cocaine. Was it specifically?
Cocaine, and was with multiple sexual partners.
Oh yes, that's right. It was and it was something about her tongue. I think
I don't remember that, unfortunately.
There was I might be conflating it. I know there was something mentioned about. Yeah, the autopsy results was an area where my memories get crossed with deadly premonition.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are a couple different twists to that moment that occur in the game, and I can't remember which of them actually occurred in the show. But there was something about they mentioned something about damage or trauma around her mouth or with her tongue or something. I don't know. I might be misremembering that, but I swear they mentioned it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Which who knows, may or may not mean anything. But of course, that's the thing, is that we don't know. There's so much that we don't know. So we hear about the autopsy results, and then it transitions to the scene with Leo and Shelley, the truck driver and his apparent wife, Shelley, and that terrible, terrible relationship. He makes her do laundry, and she finds a bloody shirt, which she tucks away.
Like a real bloody shirt.
Yeah. And she leaves for work. He's looking through his truck, realizes that shirt is still, or is missing, and looks in the washer, doesn't see it. So he thinks he knows something's up, that she must have seen it, which comes back later.
When she returns home, he questions her.
Yeah. And then we see James's testimony, Biker James, his testimony to Agent Cooper and the sheriff, and learn a bit more about his interactions with Laura. I was always suspecting that he was involved with her drug use, but obviously that's not the case. And I think we learned more about where that entered into her life later on, and also in episode 3, I think. And then let's see. So yeah, it's clear that James had nothing to do with her death, and that he was actually trying to get her away from these influences that may have been the actual cause of her death, with her drug use and whatever else might have been going on, which we get some more hints at later.
He admits that he about her cocaine habit, denies using cocaine himself.
Yes.
Yeah, he admits that he saw her the night that she died, but denies killing her as well.
Yeah, and sort of provides a quick overview of she was riding with him. I think he said something like his bike stalled, and then that's when she took off, or something like that. And but just providing a little more information about the last time he saw her. And then so he gets released. So do Mike and Bobby. They get released after fighting in the bar. Cooper has a nice moment where he lets them go and says, "Oh, wait, before you leave." Like he calls him back with that whistle that he whittled in this weird particular way. And you better pray for the health of James, because if anything happens to him, you're coming right back here and all that. Of course, that doesn't stop them from then immediately planning on killing James, though that doesn't resolve to anything yet.
That was in episode. Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, it's still episode 2. I am now looking at a summary of this episode, so I'm only covering things that I know happened in episode 2.
Right. No, I'm just trying to sort out my own memory.
Okay, sure. And then there was a weird moment. So when as those little questionings are happening, we learn the relationship between Ed and James. Ed being James's uncle, who looks after him when his mom is away, because apparently, as we learn later, his mom is a reporter and does some writing, so she travels a lot. And as Ed's talking to the sheriff, they talk a little bit about that fight in the bar. We learn that the sheriff absolutely knows what Ed is up to with the lady from the diner, and it's kind of accepted as Ed's in a really bad situation with his wife, who's the crazy curtain lady, and so it's kind of accepted. It's I don't blame you for trying to looking for something else, because clearly that's a bad situation or whatever.
The interesting thing about when he was talking to the Ed Hurley, that nothing's been done with it so far, is that he said that someone drugged him at the bar.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, it's he. So that's where he reveals that, there was a, he says he was drugged at the bar, and nothing really comes of that yet, but I guess, and Ed says something about this specific person was tending bar that night, so presumably that had something to do with it.
I wonder if he's going to turn out to be somehow involved with the cocaine, the guy who supposedly drugged him, or the guy who was tending bar, I should say. Yeah,
could be. I don't know. Well, I guess, I'll be interested to see what comes of that.
I should probably stop interrupting you. I apologize.
That's whatever. So that we get that revealed. James is released. Bobby and his friend are released from prison or from jail. Two different things.
Yep.
We learned a bit more about Ed's wife Nadine and how crazy she is potentially about the drapes, and she insists that she's going to invent a silent drape pulling mechanism so you don't get the
which she is absurdly sickeningly excited about.
Well, and yeah, so they meet in a hardware store, and Nadine's just leaving with things cotton balls to go and create this invention, and the way she describes it to Norma, the person from the diner, is you know what I was thinking about while I was waiting for my husband to be released from intensive care? The drapes,
yeah.
It's oh, okay, that gives you an idea of where her particular sympathies lie, or what she. Just the focus of her life, I guess.
The fact that she's cray, completely cray.
Yeah, completely cray. And then what was next?
Why was the husband in intensive care for just getting punched in a bar?
I don't know. I guess it depends on how hard he got hit and where he fell, and I don't know. And of course, if he was feeling woozy because he was drugged, I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, that's.
So also, I guess maybe it was more as a being used as like a synonym for like the ER. Like, when you don't go to the doctor, you go to the emergency room when you're like cut and bleeding like that.
Yeah.
When it's that serious. But
I didn't think about the fact that I didn't connect the fact that he was drugged. Yeah, he would have been in intensive care.
I mean, yeah, I guess of course. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much of that would have been involved in his hospital visit necessarily. But anyway, I think we're getting into details that aren't going to affect the really main line of the story. And then Cooper and the sheriff go to talk to Miss Packard about her connection to Laura. There's a weird moment where a fish got put in the coffee brewer. Which I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there or what that might come to, if anything. I don't know. Maybe making another mountain out of a molehill. And then at the very end of the episode, Jesus, or almost the very end of the episode, Laura's mom has this intense, crazy vision when Audrey comes to visit. No, not Audrey. Laura's friend comes to visit her, and now I'm forgetting that character's name. Shit. Yeah, Audrey is the hotel lady. Donna,
daughter.
Right, Donna. Jesus.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, Donna comes to visit Mrs. Palmer to, I guess, sort of console her or talk to her, and then Mrs. Palmer just gets this intense vision of some dude who's like hiding behind the bed, like staring into the camera.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Is that meant to be like in Laura's room?
Well, if you remember from
the vision is clearly not happening in the moment, but I'm just wondering if the setting of the vision is meant to be Laura's room or if that's just coincidental.
This is super, super important, I think, honestly, because if you remember in the last few seconds, you may not have. I don't remember if you saw the last few seconds of the pilot.
Yeah. When the previous time that she has a vision.
Yeah,
or whatever.
The mother had a vision.
Yeah.
Of the same guy, and I don't know if it's just using the same clip or if it's actually meant to be meaningful. But this will come up again in this discussion. So.
Yeah, and I don't think. I don't think that
that's right. Never mind.
The locket finding scene at the end of the pilot is meant to be connected necessarily to this other vision of the crazy person, which I guess we learn more about in episode 3.
Yeah,
another weird sequence.
But the same sequence or same guy at the foot of the bed appears in the first episode as the second, like the exact same footage. So I'm wondering if they're just reusing it or if it's meant to be specifically meaningful there.
I'm guessing it's meant to be specifically meaningful.
Yeah, I would wager that as well.
Yeah. And then just to kind of round out things to happen, we learn a bit more about some home life things. Audrey's dad, Benjamin Horn, the owner of the hotel. We see how clearly terrible their relationship is, but in a sort of different way from the other terrible relationship that we find out about more in episode or between the trucker and Shelley. Right? Jesus, I'm getting all these names confused.
Yeah, Shelley is the trucker's wife. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Sorry.
Nope.
So, yeah, it seemed clear that the interaction. So, the dad confronts Audrey about like what happened to get the Norwegians to leave. She tells him what she did, and he threatens her, like, you'll be living in a convent in Belgium or something?
Yeah.
No, it was somewhere Bulgaria or something.
Bulgaria, something like that.
And she's like completely unfazed by this thing, and you can tell. I think you can tell that he also realizes that he knows he's not going to do anything that severe, but not in a oh, I love you, I can't stay mad at you way, just in the like frustrated that maybe he feels constrained by something that we don't know about. And then also we see Bobby's home life and his dad, who is always in military dress, which is kind of its own weird specific thing. And then I realized that Bobby's dad is also like the commander, like the sort of major or thing or guy in Stargate.
Yeah,
Which is
he
where
is.
I was like, oh my god, wait, that guy looks so familiar. And I realized it's because he wears like that exact same outfit in Stargate.
Did you smile when Bobby got slapped too? Like, I was happy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I hate Bobby as a character, so yeah, I was totally fine with that.
Yeah, I'm happy when bad things happen to that guy.
Oh, and then at the very end and then also too at the very end we see the log lady again, and she tells Agent Cooper and the sheriff that her log knows something about who killed Laura Palmer, and then he has them ask it, and they say nothing, and she goes like, "Ugh, figures," and then walks away with her log. I need to know more about the log lady. I really do.
I do too, actually. I'm realizing now that I should have rewatched the second episode yesterday, because it's becoming difficult to like separate them narratively in my brain.
Yeah, like I watched them back to back this morning before we recorded, and yeah, I'm starting to remember the separations, but yeah, like it all. I mean, it's all meant to be telling one story, so the fact that it all connects together makes sense. And so yeah, and then the final moment, creepy ass moment of this episode, where Dr. Jacoby, the crazy psychiatrist dude who was fingering his tie, is in his crazy ass office, home, I don't know, and he's listening to a cassette tape that Laura recorded for him.
A love letter of sorts.
Yeah, which is apparently a thing that they did because she makes reference to other tapes, or this being one of multiple tapes. And he's listening to it, and he's got his like headphones half on, so we're still able to hear, quote unquote, what she's talking about. And so we get a better sense of, okay, there was probably something intimate happening between the two of them, just because of the nature of the message and the way she sort of talks about him. And then she says something about like going to meet a strange man, or having met a strange man that she'd previously talked to Jacoby about. And then as she's starting that, he puts the full headphones on, so we are cut off from hearing what she says, and he listens, and his eyes kind of open up a bit. And I can't. There was part of me that was thinking that maybe this was not the first time he had listened to this cassette, and so maybe he was going back and trying to understand something, or maybe it was one he had just received before she died. I don't know. But you say, yeah, we're cut off from that, and then he has this coconut that he opens up as he's listening to this to reveal another half locket. So that's like, we now have seen the existence of like 3 different half lockets. So clearly Laura was giving away halves of her heart to people.
No.
All kinds of people.
No, we haven't seen. We have no reason to believe there's 3.
We absolutely do.
No, because that could have been the other half of the locket that we saw in the pilot. That we saw.
I suppose
that we have no distinction, no necessary reason to believe that there's three lockets.
I suppose that's true. I don't know. I'm gonna operate under the assumption that there isn't, that like this is the third half. But yeah, you're right. That hand that uncovered the locket in the woods could have been Jacoby's, for all we know.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there was 6 total lockets, and she had 3 loves, regular lovers and whatnot. But until that comes up, I'm not going to.
Yeah, there's nothing necessary about. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah, and that's episode 2. Sorry, my nose is a little stuffy right now.
No worries.
So that's pretty much it for episode 2. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about before we moved on to episode 3?
Oh yeah. That was just the summary. I have some comments I wanted to add to it.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
We also we forgot to mention that there was a deposit box of what's the first victim's name, or the
Laura. Oh, did we learn that in that episode, or was that episode 3?
nope, this is Traces of Nowhere.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, another thing we learn is that apparently Bobby and his friend were into this guy for money, which we I think don't find out till episode 3 is exactly the trucker for drugs.
Wait, no, it says Leo Johnson. Leo Johnson. It was established in the 15th minute.
I didn't recognize his name, so I guess I missed that specifically. But the larger point being that clearly they had assembled this money.
$10,000.
Well, it was the other half. There was an initial $10,000, and then there was this other $10,000 that was with Laura in her safe deposit box, which was what they found. Cooper and the sheriff found when they went to open that deposit box.
Yeah.
And so they're worried about that, and then that comes to bear more in episode 3.
Yeah, but in episode 2, it's established that Cooper finds $10,000, and it's connected to Leo Johnson in the safety deposit box
but he doesn't know that yet.
Yeah, it does. Like, that's why I haven't written it down.
No, because that's revealed when Bobby and his friend are in the jail cell. They're talking, like they sort of are talking about this thing. They say, "Oh, Laura's got the other 10,000. We've got to get that sorted out." But Cooper doesn't. But the we know about the existence of that $10,000 in the safe deposit box from the pilot when Cooper and the sheriff open the safe deposit box, find the money. But they don't.
No. We don't find that in the pilot. We find that in the second episode because it's in my notes for the second episode.
The safe deposit box is opened during the pilot, but we don't know that that's connected to Bobby and his friend and Leo.
1 second.
Do you want to bet $1 on it?
I will bet $1 on this.
You will owe me another $1.
That's okay. I will owe you $5. Come first. Let's see. 1 second, because I have this in my notes for Traces to Nowhere.
And the thing is, it comes up during that second episode, but the specific thing of the safe deposit box being opened is from the pilot. That's what I'm saying.
I don't. But where in the pilot? What was it found then? You look in the pilot, and I'll look at the.
Oh Jesus! We're really gonna do this?
Yes, absolutely.
You're wrong. Okay, I'm just gonna do this the quick way, and I'm gonna look through the synopses here on IMDb.
Okay.
Because they will have it.
But for the record, I want to say this is pretty funny because I went to Hulu to look for this thing and then typed in Hulu and
I found
search it.
From the pilot. Cooper and Truman find half of a necklace with a gold heart, some bloody remains, and a scrap of paper in which it was written with blood, "Fire Walk with Me." James Shirley looked at the other half. Oh, wait, no, I was looking for the wrong part. Where was it? Oh, yeah, no, here it is. Okay. Yeah, so they find the necklace, then at the deposit box, Cooper and Truman find $10,000 in the magazine Flesh World. From the pilot. Are
you fucking kidding?
The moment where they open the deposit box and we first learn about the existence of $10,000 connected to Laura Palmer is in the pilot.
Then I need to be more specific. Oh, then what's this 15? Oh.
So in episode 2, the guys or Bobby and his friend in jail, we learn that $10,000 was connected to them, that Laura was holding it, they were going to be paying Leo.
Yeah, and that's why I have it in a question mark
here.
Because it wasn't necessarily true that is the exact same $10,000 until we find it in the third episode.
You owe me $1.
Oh, I need to be better with my notes. This is unacceptable.
Or you just need to trust me a little bit.
No. I trust you a little bit.
You need to trust me more. Clearly.
I trust you enough.
No, clearly you don't, because you keep losing dollar bills to me. So
I'm okay with losing dollar bills if it.
I'm gonna up the ante until you actually friggin' trust me. Anyway.
Nope. Dollar bills.
So anyway, other bits of episode 2, because we kind of were talking about it as we were summarizing it. But
yeah, I want the trucker guy to die. I want him to die so badly.
Yeah, I hate that person. So
yeah, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna want to put a Anyway, we're gonna put a trigger warning in the beginning of this episode, hopefully. So,
yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on to episode 3. Well,
Yes.
I want to get off on a tangent because this bothers me. The title is Zen or the Skill to Catch a Killer.
Mhm.
But what did you rate the second episode? What would you rate it?
I guess I'm not really thinking in those terms, so I don't know.
I would rate it a 4 out of 5. I was actually really starting to enjoy it with the which is different than my 1 or 2 from the pilot.
Yeah.
So it's getting better.
Well, I think like things are starting to develop in a way that they kind of couldn't in the pilot. So.
And pilots are just always bad. Like pilots are just always terrible.
Pilots are difficult. I think it's unfair to call them terrible. But
yeah. So Zen and the Skill to Catch a Killer is episode 3. And what really bothers me, I can't stand the place of Zen in the Western culture, or the view of Zen in the Western culture. It really does bother me quite a lot. For people who don't know, I am a Zen Buddhist myself, and this is a pretty anti-Buddhist sentiment, but I hate how trivialized and like absurd everything Zen is. Like anytime that you have the instances of like something being chill or something, like it's Zen, and just I can't stand it.
so, do you know what they're referencing with that title?
Yeah, they're referencing the
Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
yeah, that bothers me too.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
But that's the thing. Like they're referencing the title of the book, and
All right,
there's nothing to say that they're not also saying like that they're trying to be a bit facetious with it.
It still bothers me. Maybe it's just touching on an unrelated sore spot for me, but that shouldn't really be a sore spot anyway. But all right,
I think it is an unrelated sore spot. It's an external thing that just is your own particular, like something that you bring to this that is going to bother you in ways that it's not going to bother other people. Nothing wrong with that. I think that's
no, fair enough. I'll get off my soapbox.
yeah, that's fine. But so yeah, episode 3 we meet
Things get real weird.
Sean Penn's character, weird ass, or he looks like Sean Penn.
I don't even know who Sean Penn is.
You don't know who Sean Penn is?
Off the top of my head.
He's what? Okay, wait, hold on. I got to be sure I'm not crazy here, because that was totally Sean Penn, right? Yeah.
The name sounds familiar though. I don't know how to spell Sean off the top of my head.
It's Sean in his case, because yeah, it's one of those things that depends on who it is. That was totally Sean Penn, right? Okay, now he was either Sean Penn or Sean Penn.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Like.
Yeah, I know what that guy looks like. Yeah, it does look like Sean Penn. I don't know if it is Sean Penn, but it looks like him.
Oh, this is gonna kill me if I. Wait, seriously? I'm not seeing him listed in the cast list for this episode.
But it definitely looked like him.
Yeah, well, anyway, whatever. Regardless of whether or not it's actually Sean Penn, though I'm pretty damn sure it's Sean Penn. It's the brother of, apparently the brother of of Benjamin Horn, the owner of the hotel. And
oh yeah.
So he comes in, and apparently he's returned from a trip to France. He is just being very weird.
Yeah, what the fuck is the deal with the brie and butter sandwiches? That
Yeah,
they just freak out?
and he's coming in like, you gotta try this sandwich. I had it 4 times a day as a baguette with brie and butter, and then Horn eats it. Like they're having dinner, and he just comes in, and clearly, like Audrey's just ignoring the whole thing. The mother is just like, oh God, what is this? And just cannot stand it. And the older brother who has the learning problems is just present, but not really doing anything. And and Horn just takes this baguette from his brother and bites into it, and it's like he has an orgasm over food, and I just cannot.
Buries his face in it, like he's just in the middle of it, and he's just like, "Mom, no."
What
like,
the fuck?
Yeah, and then he just like always a pleasure to his family, and then gets up and like leaves.
Yeah,
like, what is that?
Yeah, and talks with his brother outside, and then like it reveals that like they are both as a part of this thing trying to do something, deal with the Norwegians. And he tells him about that Laura died. He's like, oh wow, but there's this new girl at the brothel. Let's go get laid. And then they go do that.
So weird.
This place called One-Eyed Jack's, and as it's described in the synopsis, One-Eyed Jack's, the weird brothel.
Yeah, I have to say something about that.
Yeah.
About that moment. It's like
let's just weave that into this. Yeah, the synopsis that we're doing.
Yeah, there's the line. Like there's a lot of things that unsettled me about when the ladies came out and to stand. Like, one of them is all the straight lines. Like it gave a weird perception of depth. Like it was weirdly unsettling. The color scheme was weirdly unsettling. And it reminds me of something, but I don't remember. Like, and it's just really creepy. And it's not creepy because of the brothel. That I have no negative connotations with that whatsoever. But like the entire scene, the cinematics of it.
It's not that it was a brothel. It's that particular brothel was unnerving. And also,
there's all these weird lines, man. All these lines. It's just, something creepy.
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean. And also, it really hurt me to hear such a slimy character quoting Shakespeare as he was.
I think that kind of makes him slimy, though. Like,
yeah, but Shakespeare is beautiful, and it's him saying it that made me feel so put off.
Yeah, they were just real scumbags, honestly.
And I felt so bad for the new girl. Like, I don't know. But yeah,
agreed.
Was that... Oh, shit, and I forgot to say something about the previous episode. So we find out that the woman, not the one who was... Not the Chinese immigrant who was married to the owner of the sawmill, but
who is now owner.
Yeah, but like the number 2, that woman,
the sister.
I guess it was the sister, whatever her relation was.
The really aggro one.
Yes, with the red hair.
Yeah, that's the sister.
Yeah, she's having an affair with Horn, the owner of the hotel.
Yeah, is that the same guy who goes to the brothel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that, goddamn.
Yeah.
This is the most busy small town I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. They fucking, are in bed with everybody.
I don't even know how these people are capable of eating, like, with all the weird plots and weird things that they're doing.
Yeah.
I have no time to eat today. I'm too busy being weird.
So yeah, the brothel scene happens, and then Donna and James have their moment of realizing that they're in love with each other and expressing that very clearly to each other.
Yeah, because in the last episode they were saying that they were a thingy. They're like a couple now.
Yeah.
On the couch.
No, the couch thing was episode 3, but they talked before that in episode 2. Yeah, and that's what led to him like coming over to visit and having dinner with Donna's parents and all that. Which I wonder what Donna's parents think about that, because they seem to be clearly aware that Donna's technically going out with that with Bobby's friends.
Yeah.
So I wonder what they think about it, or what. Yeah. Which brings me to another thing that is kind of becoming more evident here. Like, these kids have it seems like everybody who's in an intimate relationship has no idea to deal with being in an intimate relationship.
That's pretty standard for being a kid.
But even but the same sorts of things happen with the adults. Like, they get themselves tied up in situations that they clearly don't want to be in, and then can't find a way to actually get out of them.
Yeah,
and instead just maintain that while trying to find something that actually makes them happy.
I pretty much view that as the average person's status quo. Like,
yeah.
But you're right, though. It seems to be exactly how it is, and that's why it was one of the reasons I was commenting that this like small town seems to be incredibly busy, is because they're all trying to live two lives as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
because life number one clearly isn't the right or the one they want. Yeah,
and instead of using their words like adults or like human beings, they decide to just do whatever they feel like at any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, go ahead.
So James and Donna more explicitly, what I can't even think of the right word, but they clearly are in love with each other and are expressing it. They start necking like crazy people on a couch in Donna's parents' house, and then
which is kind of weird because like the parents just kind of left them. Like, you might as well just said, here you go, just go ahead and neck now.
It's like what? How are they approaching all this? Maybe they're just assuming that Donna's done with that other guy, and I don't know. I mean, clearly, like I like them, Donna's parents. They seem like good people and are trying to do right by their kids. But are you okay?
Yeah, I should not be given sharp objects.
Yeah, I sit here as I'm playing with my Swiss Army knife. Yeah,
what I was doing is I was like, I was thinking, it's weird how the tips of the scissors meet, but in the body of the scissors it doesn't. So I was like, I'm gonna try to pry these two things apart a little bit, and then like, of course, because physics, it sprung back and came dangerously close to my face.
All right. Anyway,
let me do the rest of this one because I'm getting antsy. So Dale Cooper receives a phone call from Hawk. Is it? What's that jackass's name? The
autopsy guy or the FBI coroner guy.
Oh, this must be two different people.
Oh, that's right. There were two different.
Because there's the autopsy guy came with three people total, but he got a call from somebody.
Oh no, Hawk is one of the deputies, sheriff's deputies.
Oh, he got a call. Oh yeah, he got a call about the one-armed man at the hospital, and and then the next morning Cooper gathers together with Sheriff Truman. Deputies Hawk and Brennan and Lucy Morin in the forest clearing to demonstrate his unusual approach to eliminating suspects from their investigation. What the crap was that? Like, I was just like, this is when I was like, I don't know if I can suspend I don't know how to accept how weird this shit's getting.
For what it's worth, I think the idea is that, like, I view it as he's trying to tap into a sort of unconscious workings of his mind that might have already started to figure out connections between people. So he's got this thing where he's just doing this repetitive physical task, and
It's super real, ritualistic tasks, though.
Yes.
Which is what's weird about it.
So he's taking these rocks, he's throwing them at this bottle on a log, which is like regulation pitching distance in baseball from where he's standing.
But they actually measure it.
60 feet 6 inches. And so the idea is, I guess, just through this repetitive physical task, like he's sort of trying to eliminate variance in that, so that like when his brain. So and he's throwing these rocks, and before he throws the rock, the sheriff says the name of a person. He started with people who had J's in their names. I don't know why he settled on that, but that's probably some other weird thing.
No, it's from a dream. Because the something about the dream told him
go with J's.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because the entire thing happened to was motivated by a dream.
Well, no, that was him explaining like how he came to this kind of technique in general, not for this specific instance.
Fair enough. That could be true.
You don't want to owe me another $1.
No, I'm not sure enough to even bet $1.
Okay.
I'm conceding is what I'm saying.
So anyway, so he's doing this repetitive physical task, and the idea is that when his brain makes a connection between the person that the sheriff says and Laura Palmer, that will like trigger his body to like signal to him, use this as a signal, saying like there's something there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm not saying it should work, and obviously it is sort of built up and stuff, but I think there is a certain logic to it from that perspective.
I kind of you thought about it much more like open-mindedly, because I just kind of dismissed it as him being a fucking nutbar. Like,
well, I mean, he's also a fucking nutbar, but I'm not. But even fucking nutbars often have something like some thread tying their nutbarness together. There is chocolate that holds together that nutbar. You know what I'm saying?
I think this analogy is failing, but no, I got
you. So anyway. Yeah, so they do that, and they come to the conclusion that they know that Leo Johnson, or they know they want to investigate the connection of Leo Johnson to this, because he breaks the bottle with that throw. And then who's the other person? The bottle gets knocked over but not broken for that person.
I don't know. I don't remember. Let me see. Suspect's name.
Oh, maybe it was... No, it wasn't.
Cooper throws a stone at the plate. Bottle with the stone he considers a previous read not to interest in the case. It doesn't mention, because it only mentions the Lawrence Jacoby. No.
Oh yeah. No, it was Jacoby as well. Yeah, Jacoby was like, okay, he might know something, but then the bottle was broken when he was
from Leo Johnson
with Leo Johnson. Which matches up with, I think, what we know as the audience at this point.
Yeah, and then then pretty much it fast forwards to then the freaking rude FBI coroner and his two butt cronies shows up, and I really, really enjoyed at this moment. I have to add something to this a little bit, but
sure.
The coroner starts to insult like everything. Basically, he's just insulting everything. He's just being a real jerk,
right?
And the sheriff tells him off. And I love the thumbs up that the FBI, I forget his name, for Cooper, gives to the sheriff for telling off the guy. It was just so weird.
I thought that was just like, I thought that was Cooper like see that guy, like that fucking guy, like yeah.
I liked how much Cooper just enjoyed absolutely everything about the interaction from all angles of it.
Yeah, his weird sort of detached glee. I think that is something that very much defines Cooper as a character, is that he has this detached glee about everything, and he finds things interesting and loves, like, he's very passionate about the things he finds interesting, it seems.
Yeah, but I like like that guy. But a little bit before that, the rich daughter apparently slums it in the diner, where the town coroner, his wife, and the girl Donna I can't remember. She's just such a non-character. I just can't remember anything about her. But anyway, the rich daughter,
Audrey,
is becoming more interesting to me. Like,
Yeah.
she already was interesting, but she's becoming more and more interesting to me. Yeah, it might be the whole manic pixie dream girl thing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by that character, and she gives a hint that there might have been something between the hotel owner and the girl who's dead. So
Laura.
that might reveal the third person.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. She does drop that hint to Donna.
Oh, there might be 4 guys that Donna's in. Not Donna, but what's the murder victim again? God dang it.
Laura Palmer.
Laura Palmer is involved with. There's 4 guys now that we have reason to believe
Right.
that she's involved with. The therapist, the biker, the guy who got.
Well, but I don't think the biker is involved in the same way that these others are.
No, they were, but they were. That was her boyfriend. I'm just talking about generally romantically, or
Right,
sexually. So it's the hotel owner, the psychiatrist who might be a doctor, the biker, and then that jackass kid.
I think. Oh, Bobby, you mean?
Bobby, yeah, Bobby.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, those are the 4 so far that they've established, either concretely or a very good reason that that they were together or did something. That they have some kind of romantic or sexual involvement.
Yeah.
So yeah, then and now the makeout session happens.
Oh, you mean between Donna and James?
Yeah, that's when the makeout session happens.
Okay. You're just like scrubbing through the episode on Hulu right now, aren't you?
No, I'm looking at Wikipedia, which gives a really shitty plot summary.
But so then I guess to wrap up the important things, we hear about there's a subplot with the sawmill where Catherine, who is the sister of the former owner, has been apparently stealing money secretly to
2 books.
Yeah, cooking the books with Horn, the hotel owner, and their affair,
which is established with the. Sorry, I might be just finishing your sentences for you.
Then maybe I should finish my sentences.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so that was established in episode 2 that there was something going on, and then towards the end of episode 3, Jocelyn, the current owner, is helped by Pete, Catherine's husband, to go see the books and see for herself that something is apparently wrong. And then Laura's dad has a breakdown, which then leads to the crazy dream that closes out the episode that Cooper has. With, he is in old man makeup, in a red room with a couple of big armchairs. Laura is there? Or a person who says she is Laura, but then her arms bend back? Or something?
No, she said, her arms were tied back or something.
Oh, tied back. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It's just, and and both of, there's Laura's character, and then there's this little guy, physically a little person.
Michael J. Anderson, actually, he's a really great actor who has a virtually no plot, a non. God damn it.
Yeah, I had no idea what. The synopsis I'm reading titles that character as the man from another place, but they're both talking backwards, and there's subtitles for it, and then that leads into this vision that Cooper has of this burly looking dude with a beard quoting the "Fire Walk with Me," which was on that bloody paper from the murder scene, and then Cooper has the vision of the dude looking through the bedpost all wide-eyed and creepy, and then he like talks and says that he killed Laura and he's going to kill again.
Well, he didn't say he killed Laura. He
said
someone had his murder bag, or death bag, and
he's going to kill again or something.
Yeah, you might think I'm crazy, but True. I'm going to kill again.
Yeah, and then Cooper wakes up and calls the sheriff and says, "I think I know who killed Laura Palmer. Yes, it can wait till morning," which was kind of weird. And then Finn with more of the guy dancing in the red room.
What's up with the artificial cowlick bedhead thing that looks like someone just put glue in his hair?
Oh, that's because he has So Cooper wakes up and he's got that weird cowlick on the side of his head. I think it's just because he has a lot of product in his hair and doesn't wash it out properly, and so that gets stuck up. I don't know. Yeah,
it looks really super artificial. Like they just put one thing on there. It was like,
I guess. Yeah, I don't know what significance that's meant to have, but.
Oh, no, absolutely none. I'm just saying it's fucking weird. Like, it's not important.
Okay, I wasn't sure how much you were reading into it. That's the tough thing, though. Again, with so much going on, it's hard not to try and read into little things. But that's kind of.
Oh, God damn.
Yeah, and that's episode 3. So, other points you want to bring up here?
Well, my question to you is: do you have any theories about who killed Laura Palmer?
I mean, I'm curious to see who the hell this crazy guy is who's saying he's going to kill again.
Yeah.
So I want to see in episode 4 like where Cooper goes with like the who done it thing. I think that assuming that the guy in the dream who says he's going to kill again is the person who's doing this, or is maybe. Sorry, let me restart that over. So the guy in the dream who talks about murder bags and going to kill again, I think that is the person who did it, and we haven't really met him yet, or he is just he is a representation of the person who did it. But I would say right now, unless that guy in the dream is the actual person, we have not yet seen who killed Laura Palmer. But I think it's someone who's wrapped up in with Joe or the drug dealer or Leo the drug dealer and potentially even Horn the hotel owner. Well, maybe he's not. He's probably not involved in that directly. But yeah, I think we have not yet met the killer of Laura Palmer.
I think that since I have no theories, but I no longer think it is the gas station attendant owner guy, the cotton ball wife husband.
What? You thought it was him at one point?
During the pilot, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You're crazy.
No, during the pilot, I had some intuition about it, but I don't.
No, but even then, I don't understand where that would have come from at all.
I mentioned it when we talked about the pilot. I mean,
I don't remember you saying that because I think I would have remembered something that would have tripped my what the fuck alarm so much. But
that was like 3 weeks ago, so
that's also true. A lot has happened in 3 weeks. But yeah, no, I don't see that at all. Yeah, I think we have not yet met the killer of Laura Palmer. Unless it is actually that guy in the dream, and we just haven't met him in the quote-unquote real world yet.
Yeah, I think, honestly, since they're either foreshadowing that a lot of people had interactions with the dream killer guy, or there is something supernatural happening. My actual opinion is that there is something supernatural happening. Vaguely supernatural so far, and I think that's establishing that by having 3 separate people having 3 separate flashes of the killer, or not the killer, of the person who was crazy in the dream.
Yeah, wait, 3 separate people? I thought it was just Laura's mom and Cooper who had.
No, there was another
dream.
flash of that. Flash. Let me see. The hallucinations from the mother in Traces to Nowhere, the second episode.
Yeah.
Sometime after the 22nd minute. I don't have the time for that.
Yeah, that's where we first see that guy when he's like crouching behind what appears to be the end of the end of a bed.
Nope, we see him in the very last seconds of the pilot episode. So we've seen him 3 times in all 3 episodes.
Okay, I don't remember seeing him in the pilot episode, but
Yeah, that's when the mother has the hallucinations in both first and second episodes, in the pilot and Traces to Nowhere.
Okay, I thought in the pilot all she saw, like, she was screaming and then it cut to the hand pulling out where the locket was in the dirt. And at that point, I admit I was not. I was looking away from the TV in a couple of those moments, so maybe I just missed the flash of that guy's face. But anyway,
I'm going to go back and. Oh, sorry.
But regardless, though, even if that might be the 3rd time we've seen him, but it's only 2 people who have actually had the vision.
Yeah, I'm going to actually go back quick, like when we're sometime before the next we review or talk about the next episode. If we do, I'm going to look back and try to try to piece together exactly what the timeline of that vision is.
Sure.
So
yeah.
But
yeah, what else you got for this one?
Not much. That's about it. Like,
okay.
I think that's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, is it fair to say that's it then for today?
Do you have a rating for the 3rd episode?
I'm not rating the episodes individually. I would say that, like, overall, like, I am liking this even more than I was at the pilot. Like, if the pilot was like a 3.5, maybe I had it at a 4. I would say it's now, like, without a doubt, a 4 out of 5.
I think you rated it a 4 but this episode specifically has kind of taken a little downswing for me. I didn't enjoy this episode as much as the last episode.
Yeah.
It's a little too weird. I mean, weird isn't bad by itself, but like, yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the series. But,
yeah, certainly very, like, curious as all hell to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next episode, which we'll be doing next week.
Yeah.
Correct?
I mean, yeah, unless something weird happens.
Cool. Right on. So I'm done with the show stuff.
All right, well then, shall we wrap up?
We are going to be doing some Minecraft today.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be posting that on the YouTubes. And that can be found at YouTube.
Well, if you're on our Podbean page, worldsworstpodcast.podbean.com, there'll be a link to the YouTube channel on the left-hand side. Go there, you can check everything out. We post all our episodes there as well, in video form, and then other little side videos will also be there. The Minecraft stuff is not going to be related to anything in particular. It's just, let's fucking play some Minecraft.
Yep, yes. So, right on. I'm good.
All right. Well, then you want to take us out?
Oh my god, I keep forgetting that I'm supposed to be doing this. All right. Yeah, I don't have much to say, but we will be listening to Neon by Elk Track.
I think it's supposed to be like electric.
Electric.
I think. Electric.
Yeah, I have difficulty with those sorts of
weird techno names.
Or shortened names of things.
Yeah.
So.
So, that's it?
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Man,